So, so let us first discuss what are jumping statement or jump statement in C sharp. So as we already discussed in our one of the article, that is control flow statement. In that article, we have discussed one of the category of control flow statement is the jump statement, and in jumping statement, the control will transfer from one location or one point or one statement to another point or another statement or another location, right? So whenever you are jumping from one location to another location, then that is nothing but your jumping statement. And when you are going to jump now based on some condition, I'm jumping from one location to another location. That means the jump statement is basically used to modify the behavior of conditional statement, iterative statement. What it means, now you can use the jump statement inside the if else switch statement. You can use the jump statement within the for each loop, while loop, or do while loop. And whenever you are using the jumping statement, we need to see how the behavior of a if else switch statement is going to change, how the behavior of a for loop, while loop, and do while loop is going to change when we are using the different kind of a jumping statement, right? So the jump statement allows us to exit a loop, start the next iteration, or explicitly transfer the program control to a specified location. Suppose you are running a for loop, and if you are using one kind of a jumping statement which is called a break, then it will exit, it will terminate the loop immediately once the break statement is executed. Suppose you are executing the continue statement, then it will not break the execution of the loop. Instead, it will break the current iteration and it will start immediately the next iteration, right? If you are using go to statement, then it will explicitly transfer your program execution to from one location to another location, right? So this thing we are going to discuss in today's session. We are mainly going to discuss break, continue, and go to. Apart from this break, continue, go to, as you can see in red color, we have two more jumping statement. One is return, another is throw, right? So the return in our next session where we will discuss function. In that session, we will discuss return statement. What is the important of a return statement? How to use return statement? When to use return statement? Using return statement, what we can return, what we cannot return. All these things we are going to discuss tomorrow, right? And another jumping keyword is there, that is throw. And this throw keyword, if you are having some experience of exception handling, and if you want to throw any exception from a try block, then you need to use the throw keyword, right? And we'll discuss this throw keyword or throw jumping statement when we discuss exception handling chapter, right? So basically today's agenda is we are going to discuss the need, the importance, the use of a break, continue, and go to statement. Is that clear? What is today's agenda?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start with the break statement. So first of all, any kind of a jumping statement or conditional statement or iteration statement, everything is a keyword. If you take the example, if else, switch case, for do while, everything is one keyword. Similarly, the jumping statement are also keyword. That means this break statement is a keyword. By using the break keyword, what we can do, we can terminate either loop body or switch body. If you have gone through my switch session, right, switch case session, then at that time I have explained you the importance of a break statement. Break statement is mandatory within a case block. Why it is mandatory? Because once the break statement is executed, then it will terminate the switch, right? And the same way, the break statement can also be used inside a loop. So already we have shown you some example of break statement using switch case. Today I'm going to show you the examples of a break statement using looping only, right? Because we have already discussed how to use break statement within a switch statement, when it is mandatory to use break statement, when it is not mandatory to use break statement, right? Suppose you are having a case block without any statement, then you cannot, then if you omit the break statement, that is well and fine. But if your case statement having some statement, if your case block having some statement, then break statement is mandatory. And when the break statement is executed, it will terminate the switch block and it will execute the next statement which is appeared after the switch body, right? that we have already discussed. The same way we can use the break statement. When the break statement is used inside a loop, and once the break statement is executed, it will terminate the loop body. But the most important point that you need to keep in mind is that using of a break statement is optional in a loop. But if you want to use, then the break statement should be placed either within the loop body or switch body, right? So in switch case, it is mandatory, but in loop, it is optional. And if you try to use the break statement, then the break statement should be used inside either a loop body or switch body. Apart from loop body and switch body, outside you cannot use the break statement. That is the important thing that you need to use. Break statement is basically used inside a loop or inside a switch. What is the importance of break? When the break statement is executed, it will terminate the loop or terminate the switch. Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, yes, clear.
Right. Now the question is, when should we use the break statement? We know the break statement importance. We know the break statement. If we are using the break statement inside a switch, then once the match case block is executed, then it will terminate the case. But what is the use of a break statement inside a loop? The answer is when we know the maximum number of repetition of a loop. But if some condition is there where we need to terminate the loop body, then we need to execute the break statement. So what it means, my loop is going to execute for 10 times. Suppose I am executing a loop to print the number from 1 to 10. That means my loop body is going to execute for 10 times. But there is some condition. If when I value becomes 5, then terminate the loop body. Right? That means you know how many times, or you know the number of repetition of a loop. But there are some conditions. The condition, when the condition is satisfied within a loop, you want to terminate the loop. Then in situations like this, we need to use the break statement. How to use that we will see with an example. Right? And in C#, every case statement should be ended with a break statement, else you will get compile time error. When the break statement with the case block is executed, it will terminate the switch block. That means there are two uses of break statement. One use, it is mandatory in switch case, right? When the break statement is executed, it will terminate the loop. Sorry, it will terminate the switch. Another use, if you are executing a loop, right? And if you want that loop to be terminated based on some condition, then you can also use the break statement inside a loop, right? Okay, the syntax is like this. You can see this is my syntax. The break semicolon. What is the flowchart? Let us see. So you can see the loop started. I'm not going to show you the flowchart or example of switch case because we have already discussed how to use break statement in switch. So this flowchart is based on the looping statement only. So your loop is started, right? So loop started means first it will test the condition of loop. If the condition is true, this is the condition is true, then it will break the statement, right? So loop started, it will check the condition. If condition is true, it will break the this break statement is executed. If the break statement is executed, that means what will happen? Statement after the loop body is going to be executed. If break statement is not executed, remaining statement of the loop is going to be executed, right? So what it means, your loop started. It might be a for loop, while loop, or do while loop. Once the loop started, within the loop body, you have one condition, right? Now this is the loop condition, right? Yeah, this loop condition if true, then it will come inside and it will try to execute the break statement. And if the break statement is executed, it will terminate the loop and the statement after the loop is going to be executed. If the loop condition is false, then also it will terminate the loop and it will execute the statement present after the loop body. That means when the loop condition is failed, loop will be terminated. That we already know. But within the loop, when the break statement is executed, it will also terminate the loop and the statement after the loop body is going to be executed. And if this break statement is not executed, then the remaining statement of the loop will execute and it will continue the loop execution. Right? Is that any doubt, or should I explain this diagram once more? Hello?
This is pretty clear.
Okay. Okay. Final. How does the break statement work? See, now to understand this diagram or this flowchart better, please have a look. I'm showing you the use of a break statement using while loop, using do while loop, and using break loop, using for loop. See, this is my while loop. While I is greater than 10. I think this is wrong. I is less than 10. It should be I is less than 10. Okay. So when I is less than 10, this condition will be satisfied. And inside the loop, this is there is some statement before this if condition, and there is some statement after the if conditional block. So the statement will be executed, then it will check I will equals to 5. If this condition is true, then the break statement will execute, and once the break statement it will execute, it will come outside the loop. And if this condition is fail, then whatever the statement present after the if body, those statement is going to be executed. Similarly, do while and condition. So first of all, it will execute the statement, then it will check the condition. If condition is true, then the break statement will execute. And once the break statement is executed, it will not execute the further statement available after the if block, right? It will execute the statement which are present after the while loop. Similarly, in the case of for loop, if the statement if this condition is true, then it will enter inside the for loop. These statements are executed, the statement which are present before the if block are going to be executed. Then it will check the condition. If the condition is true, then it will execute the break statement. If the condition is false, it will execute this statement and continue the loop. If the condition is true, break statement is executed. Once the break statement is executed, the control will come out after the loop body. Right?
In
Now,
do while loop also, the second one using do while loop, that while condition should be I should be lesser than 10, right?
Yeah, this condition what I have written is wrong. So it should be I less than 10. It should be I less than 10. Okay. Right? So let me do one thing. Okay, let's modify this one also so that you will not get any confusion. Okay. Now it is clear. Now the condition is fine. I less than 10. This is I less than 10. And this is I less than 10. Now the diagram is fine. Okay. Okay. Now let us understand the use of break statement with one example. So now what is our requirement? And we are going to print the number from 1 to n or 1 to 10, you can say. But when the I value becomes 5, we need to terminate the loop, right? If I'm not using this break statement, then it will print the value from 1 to 10. So it will 1 to 10. But my requirement is that once I value becomes 5, right? Then just terminate the loop. So in this case, it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and once the I value become 5, then it will terminate the loop. Is that clear? Right. And one more thing I need to show you. So the loop is going to be executed. Okay. And I'm just showing you this one. See. So first time program execution started. I value is 1. Right? Once I value is 1, so this statement is not executed. So it will come here, and from this it will go to this plus plus and it will check the condition. Please observe. So we have already discussed. From loop body, it will come to the increment and the decrement. From increment and the decrement, it will come to the conditional statement. See, condition is satisfied. What is the I value? I value is 2. So it will execute the loop body, right? Body executed. This condition check. I2 equals 5, condition fails. This break statement will be skipped. See, now I value become 3, skipped. I value become 4, if condition skipped. Now I value become 5. Now you can see I value become 5. Once I value become 5, this condition is going to be true, right? So once the condition true, this break statement will execute. Once the break statement will execute, it will not continue the loop execution further. It will come outside of the loop body. Please observe, like the control will come directly to the line number 16. Please observe. Yes or no? So that means when the break statement is executed, it will terminate the loop body. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And one more important thing, using break statement inside the inner loop. We have already discussed the concept of an inner loop. What is an inner loop? When we place one loop inside another loop, then it's said to be an inner loop. This is going to be my outer loop, and this is going to be my inner loop. So when I place the break statement inside the inner loop, when this break statement is executed, it will terminate only the inner loop. It will not terminate the outer loop, that you need to remember. So it will terminate not the outer loop. Is that clear? So when the inner loop having the break statement, if the break statement is executed, then it will only terminate the inner loop. This is my inner loop. The inner loop body is from this to this. And this is my outer loop, right? This is my outer loop. So when this break statement is executed, it will terminate this loop execution, but it will continue execution from here only. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now execute the application and see the output. See, outer loop is going to be executed for the I value 1 to 5. So outer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So outer variable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For each outer loop, the inner loop is going to be, I have provided the condition to be executed for 5 times. But when the inner value becomes 3, right? Inner value becomes 3, then the loop is going to be, now when the inner value becomes 4, then the break statement is going to be executed. That means for inner value 1, 2, 3, you can see this statement is executed. But when the inner value becomes 4, 4 is greater than 3, the condition satisfied, this break statement is executed, so it will terminate the loop. So you can see for the inner value 1, 2, 3 is there, inner value 4 is not there. That means when inner value becomes 4, this break statement executed, and once this break statement executed, it will terminate this loop. And it will execute this statement. After executing this statement, the outer for loop continue its execution. So for the first time, outer value 1, inner loop execute 3 times. For the I value 1, 2, 3. When I value become 4, inner loop terminate. But it will not terminate the outer loop. So again, outer loop continue its execution. Outer loop variable I value become 2. And for 2, again the inner loop is going to be executed for 3 times. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I have already shown you the use of a break statement with the switch case. So this is just an example. So you can see this is a program, right? And here I'm using the switch case, switch X. X is a constant. Constant means it can be any integer literal or character literal or float literal or string literal. So here X is 2. So 2 means in this case block is going to be executed. When the break statement is executed, it will terminate the switch code, right? So let's see this. See, here X value is 2. So 2 means which block is going to execute? This case block is going to be executed. So let's see function F10. It will come to the switch case number 2. It will execute the case statement. Then it will execute the break statement. Once it executes the break statement, it will terminate this loop. Terminating the loop means what? Or terminating the switch means what? Now, it will, whatever the statement you have written within the open and close curly braces, it's nothing but its body. This is the switch body. So it will terminate the switch body means the statement written outside the closing curly braces is directly going to be executed. From this location, the control will move to this location. Please observe. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So now anybody having any issue related to the break statement, if they have, then they can ask, what is the use of break statement? Where we can use the break statement? When we need to use the break statement? If you have not question, if you have not answer for these questions, then you can ask. Or if you have how to use the break statement, the syntax is very similar. Just break and semicolon. Right? Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Sir, in real time, when you are using break statement in for loop situation, for loop or do will.
Yeah, so see now, yesterday I have shown you one example. Okay, let me open that example. Yesterday program, did you practice?
Yes, I did.
Yes, in yesterday program, I have given one real-time example, and you can see enter a number. So basically write a program to check whether a number is a prime number, right? In this case, I have used the break statement. Why? If I'm not using the break statement, then the loop is going to check the condition till the end, right? Whatever the number value, it will check. But what my requirement is, if one number is divisible by I, if whatever the number I am entering, if it is divisible by I, means it is a prime number. Once it is becomes a prime number, then no need to test the further numbers, right? So just to terminate the loop. Okay. So in this example, see, okay, so let me introduce to one counter variable, count count. Okay, so this is count variable, and what I'm doing here, now I'm just using count plus plus, right? Count plus plus to show you how many times the loop is going to be executed. Why I'm getting this error? Use of unassigned variable. Okay, so this is initialized with the variable with 0, and I'm incrementing this value right now. Console.writeLine, and I'm just printing the count equals to count. Right? So how many times my loop is going to be executed, that it will print. And here I'm not using the break statement. I'm just checking. Not exactly this one, break. If I equals to number, not this one, I equals to number, and number is greater than 2.
Put it box in tall,
Okay. Enter a number. I'm entering 17. It's a prime number. So count equals to 15. 17 is a prime number. Yes or no? So it's a prime number. Now see, I'm entering 15. Is 15 is a prime number?
No.
No. So if I'm entering the number 15, then as per your expectation, how many times the loop should going to be executed?
7, 8 times.
Sorry? If it is starting from 2, then how many times it is going to be executed? See, only 2 times. Why?
Oh.
Can anybody tell me why the loop is going to execute for 2 times? Anyone having any idea?
15 is divided by 2. It
Not
gives
50,
you
not
7
no,
and remainder is 1. So 1.
no. So here the loop will start from I value 2, right? 2 is less than 15. Condition satisfy or not? Is condition satisfied? Then what it will do? 15 modulus 2. 15 modulus 2 operation means the remainder is 1. So it will not execute the break statement. Then it will increment the I value. I value become 3. So 3 is less than 15. Yes, condition satisfied. Now 15 modulus 3 equals to 0 or not? Remainder is 0. Yes, 3 into 5 equals 15. So modulus is 0. So once modulus is 0, this break statement will execute. So it will terminate the loop. That means because of this loop, we are getting the appropriate output and we are only executing the loop 2 times. You understand? Now, when you are executing a looping, suppose you are starting the loop from 2 to number. So 2 and the number is 15 means it is going to be executed for 13 or 14 times, right? So in that case, and your condition is that, so you are executing a loop for a number of times. You are providing some condition that my loop is going to execute for 10 times or 15 times or 100 times. But you are also providing one condition. When the number is modular division by I value, and if we are getting the remainder as 0, then break the loop. Right? You understand now? So you are having some condition to execute the loop, but inside the loop you are having another condition. And if that condition is satisfying, you just need to break the loop. And this is one real-time example of using break statement. If I am not using break statement, then how it is going to be? See, so integer, some temp variable I need to declare, right? Temp equals to 0, right?
Why don't you just use the count variable you got there already?
No, count is basically to check how many times the loop is going to be executed. And this temp variable is basically how many numbers are divisible by 2, or how many divisors for this number are, right? So if the number is divisible by I value, so it will increment the count value, right? So now, see, 17 is a prime number, but in this case, how many times the loop is executing? 15 times. That means without using break statement, you are achieving the functionality. But in this case, if you are entering the number 17, the loop is going to be executed for 15. And if I am going to use the break statement here, then see, I will get the same output, but the loop is going to be executed for 2 times. 17. No, my mistake, my mistake. For prime number, it is going to check. Oh, this is wrong. Equals to number. I think I'm doing some mistake in the logic. So temporary is started. Okay. Let's debug the application. So I'm entering 15. I will start 15. So it will come inside and it will execute the loop. Then it will come inside and it will execute the loop. Temp value becomes 1. Temp value becomes 2. So temp value becomes 2. So 2 means I equals to, in this case 5, number equals to 15. And if okay, so if temp is now let's run the application. Suppose I'm entering 15. So 15 is not a prime number, right? If I'm entering 17, then 17 is a prime number. See, if I'm entering the number as 17, the loop is going to be executed for 15 times to find whether the number is a prime number or not. That is fine. But if I'm using entering 15, then while executing for the second time, the I value become 3, and in that case the number 15 is divisible by I, and in that particular time, for the second looping itself, we came to know that the number is not a prime number. Then even though for the second loop iteration, or while executing the loop for the second time, we came to know that the number is not a prime number, it still continue executing until the I value become 15, right? So this is not this is very bad from a performance point of view. So what is our requirement? Now we will execute the loop from 2 to the number what is input by the user. But once we came to know that this number modulus division by the loop counter variable, and if we are getting the remainder as 0, then we need to terminate the loop as soon as possible. That means when this condition is executed, I need to terminate the loop, because once this condition gives me true, means the number is not a prime number. And if this number is not a prime number, then it doesn't make any sense to continue the loop execution. Right or not? See, if you are having some cricket match, one-day match or T20 match, right? So one team score 150, the chasing team score 151. Once 151 they score, the match is going to be stopped, or they still continue, or they still playing all the 50 over quota or the 20 over quota. Once they achieve, they should stop playing. The same thing. Once you know the number is not a prime number, then why I'm going to continue the loop execution? Because for each execution, it will take some time now. So instead of executing, we need to terminate the loop. And situation like this, we need to use the break state. You understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, correct.
So instead of executing the loop for 20 or 30 times now if you check, if I enter 15 and if I continue executing, so within the second time, the loop counter variable is going to be 2. Means the loop is executed only 2 times. Previously, it executed for 13 times. So you are getting the output as expected. Previously, whatever output you are getting, the same output you are also getting now. But the difference is optimized code. The difference is performance. This is your optimized version, and this code gives you performance. When you are optimizing your code, ultimately you are getting the better performance. Right. So in this case, the number is a 15. You will not see that difference in performance. But think, instead of 15, if someone is entering 5,000, 10,000, does it make sense to execute the loop for 10,000 times? Even if you know the result after executing the loop for 2 times, then you should have some mechanism to stop the loop or not. And the mechanism of stopping the loop is this one. You understood or not?
Yes, makes sense.
See, in this example, the temp variable is not required, right? So previously, if without using the break statement, if you want to achieve the output, then for that you need to use the temp variable. So what is the use of temp variable means? So how many times the number is divisible by this I variable, that count it will take. If a number, whatever the number you are entering 15, so for the second time the loop execute, so this condition becomes true, right? So when the I value becomes 3, number modulus 3 equals to 0, this condition becomes 3, this temp variable value becomes 1. Again 4, this condition become false. Again 5, when the I value become 5, this 15 modulus 5 equals to 0, this condition is satisfied. So the temp value becomes 1. So what I am checking here, now if the temp value is 0, means it is a prime number. If it is greater than 0, it means it is not a prime number. Without using break statement, if you want to achieve this functionality to check whether a number is a prime number or not, then in that case you need to use this temp variable. But if you want, if you don't want to use temp variable, you can also achieve the output using the break statement, right?
So temp will be used to find how many factors also, right? If we want to find.
Yeah. So if you want to know how many factors of this number, then you can also use this temp variable. Yeah. So this temp variable give you the number of factors. So like this count, you can also print the temp variable, right? Factors. But the thing is that if you are using the break statement, then you will not get the output,
Yes.
right? Let me comment this one. See, it's basically, it depends on your program requirement and a logical building, right? If you want to know the number of factors of a number, how many, so you need to use like this. And you need to start the execution from 1 only, because 1 is also a factor. And in this case, for 15, you know what are the factors 1, 3, and 5. So it should give me 3 in the temp variable. So you can see factors is 3. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's totally based, it totally depends on your logical building, your project requirement, what exactly you want to achieve, what you exactly want to do. If you want to find the factors, then you need to use like this. But if you want to find whether the input number is a prime number or not, then it doesn't make any sense to use this temp variable. It makes sense to use this break statement, right? So this is all about your break statement.